Hello everyone, this is Lolly. I have some really exciting news for me and maybe for you. When I went to Creativation in January of this year, I filmed a demo of the BETTER Ultimate Adhesive that was being released this year. It is now on the market, and I was in communication with them and I asked if they could send me a sample before I purchased, and so I could demo this. Now there's two different kinds. You see this one is blue and has a silver tube, and this one is gold and has a gold tube at the bottom. And the difference is how long it takes to dry. So this is 10-minute working time and this is 2-minute working time. So let's play with this one on video. When I was in communication, I asked her what the difference was in the hold of each, and she said they were the same. It's just the drying time. So if you have a project and you need more time to be able to manipulate your work, you might want the 10-minute drying one. But I want to tell you what this says. It says it dries 4 times faster than the competitor, basically. It's strong and durable, that it's weatherproof, that it's low volatile compound, low odor. And on the back it says it sets up in 2 minutes, that it's good for fabric, foam, cardboard, cork, concrete, stone, cement, tile, leather, wood, metal, iron, rubber, and more. Now in the demo she had said you could repair dishes with it and that it was food safe. So I don't see that on here. It says to clean the surface, apply glue on both sides, leave for 1 minute, and then press hard on both sides. And it will set in 2 to 3 minutes, but do not move the item for 1 hour, and then it will reach its ultimate hardening in 24 hours. So we've got this, and oh, here's the rest of the information here. That's interesting because it gives you more of the diagram here. And they do have a spreader. It's very nice packaging and how it opens up so easily. It's got a little spreader if you need that, and it's got tiny little grooves here and wide grooves here. This would be nice for your mixed media projects. And you know, precautions here, and it's supposed to not smell like some of the adhesives. I'm going to go ahead and say it. E6000 has been my go-to for paperclip art for a long time, and anything that I would glue that needed to be permanent, but it is toxic. So this is what's exciting about this. And hold the spreader upright. It just shows it spreading around evenly to each surface. And then for absorbent surfaces, use the narrow teeth like this one. And for non-absorbent surfaces, use the wide teeth. Interesting. So glue them, leave for a minute, and then press the two sides together. Okay, so what I have ceramic tile. I have several pieces of plastic game pieces. I have 2 poker chips too, and I have paper clips, and I have cleaned them all, surfaces all off with alcohol. So I have a couple of pieces of rubber here too. Let's see if I can clean those up with a little bit with alcohol. Here we go. We are going to compare the E6000 to the BETTER Ultimate Adhesive, and it takes a long time to open that. This is nice. It's got the little prong that goes down inside this to stop it from leaking, which is really handy. This one just keeps on leaking after you put the lid on there. So I think the first thing I want to do is to test gluing plastic to plastic. And we'll do the E6000. I'm going to have to do this video in segments and come back after drying times. So what I'm going to do is, let's change this and go over the smooth side here. I realize I just put some on the other side. I'm putting a generous amount here and pressing it down. And what I want to do, I'm going to leave this open for now. What I want to do is leave a ledge of this open, so hanging out over the side, so that I can lift it up and test it later. So now with this one, and again I'm using the smooth side down, it says to let that set for a minute. So let's do this. I'm going to get my timer set up here. Okay. Now this says both sides, so I didn't do that on the E6000, but now it said to spread it out with, it's a non-porous surface, so I'm going to do what it said and use the little comb here to spread that out. Alrighty, so let's get that timer started. Okay, so it says to push the two sides together firmly. I used too much, but that's going to be a while for me to figure that out because now I'm squishing it. I need less glue on each side because it's twice the glue, right? Okay, I'm going to set that aside. We've got our E6000 on the left. Now let's try the paper clip. Let's glue these here. And I will work to use less glue this time if I can. We need more here, clearly. I'm going to use this to keep this up and keep it level. Okay. Now I'm not going to use this time on the paper clip. It's be hard to spread that out on the paper clip, I would think. Okay, now I am off camera. I've got my, oops, wrong one. Off camera, I've got my timer going here, and I'm going to pause the video while that's recording. While it's waiting. And okay, we're almost done here. Okay, push that down in there. And I'm going to do the same thing I did over here and put another one under there to keep this level. I want it to be flat. Put that over there. Okay, now I want to look at ceramic tile and how well pieces will stick to that. It slides around pretty fast. It's pretty easy. So now let's do this one. Got my timer going, and again I'm going to pause the video. Okay, it says push the two sides together. You can already tell that this is not as slippery as this is when I go to move it. And again, I have too much. This is going to be a learning process. I don't need as much, and I feel like, than I always have with the E6000. I've been using E6000 for over 20 years because I was using it in jewelry making. So I do want to get off some of this excess here because it's not necessary. Then I don't want to interfere with results by giving it extra cushion around there of glue. Okay, now let's go ahead and try the rubber. I think I'll glue the rubber right onto this tile. And I really think a different metal would be a better test than paper clips because of the shape of the paper clip. It's hard to get a really good flat seal on that. I've been using paper clips in my crafting for a long time. Now I know that when I've been using E6000 and I needed it to hold, sometimes I would hold the item for 5 minutes, letting it set up. Okay, now let's try this one. I really like this lid. I can't tell you how much I like that. Okay. One thing I'm trying, there's a lot to read on the information for this. I'm trying to figure out how to actually clean this. So that's what I need to find out, is how to clean this when I'm done. So it said not to touch these for an hour. So we're going to do that. We're going to let this all set for an hour and see what happens. And an hour for both. And although it did say that it sets in 2 to 3 minutes, that means you don't have to keep holding it and for it to get a good seal. So that's really good that this is going to be set up so much faster. So in an hour, we will recheck, revisit, and just kind of lightly play around and see what happens. I know it won't be the final ultimate hold test, so maybe we should just wait for 24 hours. That might be the best solution here, is to wait the full 24 hours on both of these to get them the full test. Okay, it's time, and I'm back. This is the next day, and I can say that, you know, I didn't move these for an hour like it said, and then, you know, after about 3 or 4 hours, I just kind of tugged on them to see what I thought. And remember, everything on the left side is E6000, everything on the right is Better Ultimate Adhesive. And I notice in all their literature, Better is in all caps. The first thing I had done was I had glued these plastic game pieces to some really hard plastic poker pieces. Now I realize this is not a scientific experiment because you can see that there is glue. I got too much, so there's glue on the side. So that's kind of cheating because, you know, it's going to also cover the sides and really give it a good adherence. But look at that. And there's the E6000. So let me try this. Let me grab my pliers. Okay, it's as strong as I am. And I'm even twisting it sideways, and it is not coming off, okay? There you go. Uh-oh, folks. E6000 let me down. That is the first time. Of course, I've never tugged that hard. Okay, E6000. But again, this had it all around the side too. Not completely up the side, but just in a couple spots and about halfway up the tile. So that could have been an influencing factor. I did paper clips as well. And I'm not doing this for beauty. I was just seeing how well it would hold. Now, paper clips are really hard to glue because it's just this skinny wire. Now we're going to twist. I bet if I lifted this way, it would come off. That was hard to do, but it came off. Now remember, people always say, well, why don't you use hot glue gun? Because this will fall apart in the mail if it's hot glue gun. Yeah, I had to work to get this off, but with hot glue, it just falls apart in the mail. Okay, so this one, pull, twist, twist. Okay, I'm going to lift up like I did there. Okay, it did come off. Like I said, it's only a skinny wire, so that did pop off. Alrighty, so they were equal on that one. And then I glued these to the tile here. This is ceramic tile. Off. Wow, that was hard. I really had to work harder to get that off than I did on this side. Okay, and the rubber. I'm impressed, folks. This is E6000. Wow. I'm getting my workout. Okay, that came off, but it was really hard to do. You could hear me breathing and grunting here. This is giving me a run for my money. Gads, and you see it even left part of the rubber on the tile. It split the rubber rather than take it off in that one spot. That was hard. You have to realize that the things that we're going to be gluing in the crafting community are not going to be, we're not going to be putting that kind of force on them to pull them apart, if that makes sense. So, you know, we're not going to be using pliers and trying to rip them off. We're not going to be bending our paper clips backwards trying to get them off of these items. So for all of that, I can say that the Better Adhesive did way better than E6000. I have used this for over 20 years for everything from repairs to crafting and making jewelry, etc. And I have always considered it my go-to glue, and I'm telling you, I am going to switch to this. The other benefit of Better compared to this is that, wow, you know what? Just from knocking those off, I'm smelling the E6000 all over again. If you are familiar with E6000, it is extremely toxic smelling, and they say use it in a well-ventilated area. This does not have that smell. I like the cap better. I love the way that little prong goes down inside there to stop it from oozing out inside the cap. So this is the way to go for me, and I am going to, I'm looking into carrying this in my shop. I'll keep you updated if I do. And I want to tell you about this. Remember, I was using this to spread the adhesive around, and then I wondered, how do I clean this off? So I was reading the instructions, and it said, like if you get it on your hand, to use just cooking vegetable oil, and it will take it right off your hands, you know, right after you've gotten the glue on there. So I did it on this, and it came right off, and then you just wash up with soap and water after that. So because you're going to want to keep this and use it again. So for me, I was using it a long time, and I didn't want it sticking to my craft table, so as I would use it, I would lay it down so that the end was up off of the table, and that's probably your best bet. So loved it. I'm very happy with it, and like I said, this will not come off. It's on there permanently. Maybe we should make some jewelry out of it. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that demo, and I will keep you updated as how to get some of this Better Ultimate Adhesive